Okay, welcome to me watching my DVDs. This is the second show. I'm Tommy, the guy watching my DVDs. Today, I'm a little stickled right now because I just had some technical errors in which I lost my original starting of the podcast, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise, and maybe that I was doing a terrible job, so it probably needed to be done again. But there's also like an annoying kind of hiss in the background of the vocal track, so hopefully that's gone now as well. But I still was going to upload that one, but then I had a GarageBand kind of poop itself, and I lost everything. But it was also kind of if it was going to do it, I'm glad it happened then, because the movie that I have is restricted by region code because it's an Australian DVD. Now I don't want to find any of my Australian DVD players, so I just decided to source a copy from the internet. So if anyone's any like big pencil pushing nerd up in some big studio is going to get tickled by that, he can suck my dick. But as I've paid my money for it. Anyway, this is going to be weird because I kind of have to go back over what I've said before. I'll start off with a bit of a recap of the last episode. It seemed to get some positive feedback from the 4 friends of mine that listened to it. So that's kind of good, but it is definitely suffering because I kind of have a very short attention span and I get distracted by flashing lights and pretty colors. But I did listen to it over myself, and I thought, I could do better. I didn't think it was the worst thing ever, but, there's always room for improvement. So I'm looking to kind of cut out some of the ahs and hums and ums and likes and words like nonsense and what was it? Charm. Although those are good words, so I'm not too precious about that one. I'm not hungover today, which is good. So, over the last show where I was blatantly hungover and was openly acknowledging I was hungover, so I feel like this could be but this was probably a better way to kind of get started off it. I was hoping to kind of get someone to sit in with me for one, because I thought that'd be cool. But my sister had to work today, so she will not be joining me for The Faculty, which is the movie of this week, as I said last week. We're watching The Faculty today. And I'm really excited to get back into The Faculty, because it's been a long time since I've watched it. I've kind of gone in chronological order for the DVDs that I bought, but that pretty much ends today because I've forgotten the order of movies that I bought after The Faculty. It was Cork Your Manor, it was The Faculty, and then that's all that I really remember. I know Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was in there. I know that there was Tom Hanks, Saving Private Ryan. There's probably more Tom Hanks in there because I do love my Hanks. And but I can't really remember. Die Hard was an early one as well, actually. Die Hard was definitely an early one. So, I had my priorities right. But, I remember actually buying The Faculty. It was going to, there was this fantastic video store back in the day in Old Ranella, Video Easy, which used to be Movieland. I've been told it's closed down from an Aussie friend of mine, but that's really disappointing because I remember going there as a kid and being like in love with the place because it was just the biggest video store I'd ever seen. And they had a cool little castle room, which was, for all that, like all the kids stuff, which I was excited about when I was a child. But then as I got older, I kind of realized that, fucking the selection they had was unreal. I've not been in a video store that's had as good a selection before or after. So, that was a pretty special place. And there was what was this? Oh yeah, after buying Corky Romano, I was kind of hooked in the way that, like, when people get tattoos, they get one and then they're like, oh, I got to get more. They say it's addictive. That leads to all sorts of weird face tattoos and people piercing their ding dongs, and like, I don't really get that. I don't know. I knew a guy who pierced his ding dong, and that was I didn't see it or anything, but it just came up in conversation, and I just asked him why, and it was pretty much just because he could. Like, that kind of baffled me a bit. I mean, why would you pierce your ding dongs? Aren't for piercing. I mean, that's in my humble opinion, but yeah, I guess if you got your ding dong pierced, then power to you, and good luck with that. I hope you don't pass any strong powered magnets or get it. I don't know. I hope you remember to take it off going through customs and keep it hygienic. That's oh gosh, this has gotten weird. Why was I talking about ding dong piercing? Faculty, something to do with, oh yes, being addicted to buying DVDs. So I bought Corky Romano. That was all, spiffy, and I could afford that. And the Faculty was the Faculty. Well, this is the next movie that I got, and I remember actually buying it because I don't think I'd seen it before, but I know that I wanted another DVD. So I went into Video Easy, and I was rummaging through their selection, and all the movies that I wanted, that I knew that I liked, or that I wanted to see, that I'd heard of, were all expensive. They were all like way out of my price range. And I had a tenner, and all the movies that were a tenner at the time were these kind of less popular ones, and so there was like The Faculty, and there was like Never Been Kissed, and She's All That, and there was a whole lot of them there that I just thought kind of sucked, and but The Faculty kind of caught my interest. I was like, oh, it's a horror movie, that's cool, I like horror movies. It's set in a school. I go to school, even though I was like not in high school yet. I was like, yeah, this is, I can relate to school. I had Elijah Wood from The Hobbit. Well, from The Hobbit, who was the Hobbit in Lord of the Rings. It wasn't the Hobbit. Bilbo Baggins, I suppose, is the Hobbit. Fuck off. Don't judge me, hippies. Yeah, so it had, Josh Hartnett was cool. It had Cleo Duvall, and she was edgy, and Usher was on the cover, which has, never been a reason for me to watch a movie. Usher being on the cover. I don't think that's ever sold any movie tickets ever, except maybe to Usher. Anyway, Jordana Brewster, she was a babe, and yeah, it was like, oh yes, who was it? Someone got 10 points. Jon Damon. He got the 10-point challenge. I wasn't even serious about that, but he actually listened to the show and said that Jordana Brewster was in The Fast and the Furious, when he is darn right. And because I had only said Texas Chainsaw Massacre and this. So well done, Damon. And well done, Jordana Brewster, for keeping your career going and the dream alive. Oh, my coffee's gone cold. So The Faculty, yeah, I bought that second film, took it home, and had I really enjoyed that movie. I got a lot of mileage out of it. Like, I've seen that movie a shit ton of times, because, when I even had a much more limited DVD collection, I had to kind of go over the ones that I had. And it also was a movie that I wanted to come back to quite a bit, because, not to, go against what I said I wouldn't do, but yeah, it had a certain charm, there's me using that word. And it's like, I felt like it had really good energy about it, and it captured kind of like the whole high school experience pretty well, because the teenagers swarm, they smoke, and they like drive cars, and they they did a good job of like covering all the stereotypes and portraying them with likable characters, you know, representing them well with, like I said, Elijah Wood, Clea Duvall, and Jordana Brewster, and all that jazz. And it was, you know, because of that, you know, it was quite relatable, and but that's not really, you know, here nor there. Like, it is just sort of, you know, it's not that. It's weird how it managed to, you know, to do something as generic as High School, and to do it in not. I don't know what it is about it that I can't remember what it is about it that made it kind of sort of that much different to the way other films kind of represent high school. But for me, that was kind of the best representation up until I started watching John Hughes movies, you know, and I think that's kind of, you know, no one would disagree with you there, saying that John Hughes is like the fucking king of capturing teen angst and whatnot, or just the teenage way of life. Unless you're a robot and, you know, never lived. Sorry, that's just getting very judgmental. I just had to check on the progress of the faculty. But no, there was... Oh, shit, I had a point here. Oh, yeah, fucking... One thing that probably made the faculty awesome was fucking Robert Rodriguez directing it. Like, I had no idea back in the day that he directed that. And it seemed like it was... I was a bit surprised, but I think that I'd kind of heard that before. So I must have heard it a few years ago that he directed that and then forgotten. But, yeah, like, Robert Rodriguez, like, I don't think all of his stuff is fucking great. Like, you know, I think that Shark Boy and Lava Girl, the bit of it that I watched on Netflix, you know, in a particular intoxicated state, I didn't enjoy that very much. I saw Spy Kids in cinema when it came out, and I thought that sucked. And I had to watch Spy Kids 2 in high school for some reason, and that sucked. Not a fan of the Spy Kids movies, but I do like fucking El Mariachi and Desperado, and when he did Dusk Till Dawn, which is a kick-ass horror movie, so, like, the dude can do horror. And Sin City, that's a great film. Fucking Planet Terror, that movie kicks ass. He's got a pretty solid kind of foundation, so it's great to see him doing, you know, this. It seems like a weird thing. It seems like a very generic kind of studio machine movie, you know. It's like, it's got a Hobbit, it's got a pop star, and it's got, you know, like Robert Rodriguez directing it. It seemed like a weird movie for him to do it. But I suppose that's how you become the big names, by doing those jobs, I imagine. Unless, you know, it was a passion project for him, which I'd be okay with as well. I like the level of violence in this movie. It's kind of like an accessible violence. Like, it manages to do good horror movie violence and still kind of be watchable for like a pretty wide audience, you know. It's not like... I'm so sick of kind of a lot of movies today that are just kind of torture porn, where it's just people getting shit on for 2 hours, and it's just, you have this horrible experience for a long time, and then you leave, and, you know, nothing really happened. It just, there's someone getting fucking, like this kind of sadistic kind of, there's meanness in horror movies now. Horror movies don't need to be mean. They just need to be scary, you know, like... I'm sick of watching those same movies over and over again. And I mean, they're all different, and yet they're all the same, you know. But yeah, and it's all, you know, fucking human cruelty. This has got a fucking big sea monster thing, you know, or alien sea monster. You know, that's pretty cool. And they get, you know, the fucking Robert Patrick T-1000 running around causing havoc. Usher. I don't know why I keep coming back to Usher. I guess I'm just baffled as to, you know, why he's in this. Because he's Usher. Oh, shit. Fuck it. Yeah, I thought it was a great sort of cool horror movie vibe that was really accessible and fun. You know, it was a fun horror movie. It was like, you know, the monsters that it needed to have. And this was before I ever saw The Thing. I'd seen Alien at this point and stuff, but I hadn't seen The Thing. So this kind of, I watched this at the right time, in the right place in my life, and it just kept that sort of love of movies going. And it was a fun, you know, it was a movie that I got a lot of a lot of mileage out of, and so I'm really expecting to come out of this and being in a great mood that I've watched it and being like, fucking, I'm so glad that I watched The Faculty again because it had been so long since I watched it, and that's a great movie. And yeah, I'm really optimistic about this one. So I'm gonna go and do that now because I've come to realize that I've been going a lot longer than I expected to, which is which I suppose is good. Because it means that my episodes will get better as long as I'm speaking clearly, as long as I'm not making a fucking dick of myself, and as long as I'm making a point about the movies, as long as there's something worth hearing in it, then cool, great. But if not, then feel free to send me some hate mail, and I'll get back to you on it. Well, no, I won't. I probably won't read it. But yeah, so I'm going to go and watch The Faculty now, and then in about 2 seconds, you're going to hear me saying okay and giving my post-viewing review. So I will return shortly. Okay, and I'm back from watching The Faculty. So yeah, that was fucking awesome. I'm really glad that I've gone back to watch that movie because it was really been a long time since I went to do it. This whole podcast idea was a fucking really good idea because it had that whole nostalgic thing of I've talked about nostalgia with Corky Romano, and it wasn't the same because with this is a movie that I know I enjoyed a bunch of times, and from the second I put it on, I kind of was brought right back to there. And man, I was talking about like what was it about the sort of vibe with the high school thing that stood out with it. What did Robert Rodriguez direct that make it seem like it was fucking, like it was a genuine high school? And it was that everyone was fucking miserable. Everyone in the school, all the teachers, that it's an underfunded school with miserable, alcoholic fucking teachers who hate their students and students who hate their teachers and each other. And, yeah, that was the refreshing kind of, the truth to it that everyone fucking hates everyone. It gets off to a great start, just having fucking Baby Newirth getting like stabbed in the hand and then running around and not being a complete fucking idiot loser, like in oh, I've got a cat walking on me right now. But yeah, she's able, even though she's got a fucking pencil in the hand, she's there kicking ass and taking names up until she gets fucking murdered with a pair of scissors. That's one thing I didn't entirely figure out. They never really explained the aliens apparently have awesome healing qualities, because Jean Grey from X-Men loses her head and she's knocking about at the end of the film, and fucking there's people getting stabbed in the face left, right and centre, and Jon Stewart gets stabbed in the eye. Even he dies like the proper alien way, and yet he comes back to life as a human. So or at least he's in the end credits with an eye patch and a donut. So yeah, I guess, but fuck it, it doesn't need, I wasn't complaining at the time. I suppose it was the only time I realised there was a plot hole at all. But the movie's too much fun to really give a shit about plot holes. Yeah, like, what is it about the alien in this movie? Because it's like, fucking... the Thing meets fucking Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They basically rip off the scene from The Thing with the whole everyone's tied to the chairs and doing the testing the blood to see if it reacts. Except this time it's a bunch of teens in Josh Hartnett's garage and all taking nose drugs, and they're all getting they're all tweaked off their nose drugs, which is apparently mashed up caffeine pills. Now, I've drank a lot of coffee in my time, and it's never kind of tweaked me the way that they're getting tweaked, but they are taking it through the nose, which in movie language for kind of something else. I suppose he's put it through a whole system, and lots and lots of pipes. There's yellow stuff in a jar. I don't really understand that, considering he pretty much just says that it's all caffeine. I suppose caffeine does get you a bit dehydrated. It does all the jobs that it needs to do. And it's the wonder drug. I didn't take any nose drugs in high school, so I was a little disappointed by well, not really disappointed by that, but that was a little different. I suppose it's an American late 90s high school. And, yeah, I thought that the actors were particularly good. Because they all sort of... I mean, Clea Duvall was basically born to be an angsty goth kid who everyone thought was a lesbian. Like, you know, she just lives the role, you know? I don't know if it was like, you know, if that was just good casting, or maybe she's like one of those Daniel Day-Lewis actors who has just been in character for her entire life, and then when they finish shooting, it's like she just, or maybe she just wanders from one set to the other, being like the angsty teen. She should, anyway, because she's really good at it. Like, I thought that, you know, if she should, you know, there should be an Academy Award for, like, best angsty, heavily black makeup goth chick, and, you know, she should have like 10 of those awards. But probably just for that movie. I don't know if she's done that before. I mean, I've seen her in other stuff. I saw her in that, like, what is it, fucking Aliens of Mars, John Carpenter thing. I think she was in that, which was kind of like fantastically shit. Yeah, but she did a fucking bang-up job in this. And I like the dude who was the jock, Stan. I forgot his name, but I cannot think of any other film I've ever seen him in. But I thought he did like a cracker of a job here. You got Josh Hartnett doing Cool Hands for the whole movie. If you watch this movie and look at his hands, he's doing like cool hands for the whole film. I don't know how to describe it other than, you know, it's like he doesn't hold things properly. Everything's kind of like, you know, stiff arm, limp wrist kind of thing. You know, droppy, swaggy flat hands. It's like he can't hold a pencil properly. He has to hold it in a slightly different, slightly more inconvenient way. I don't know why, because it's just not very practical, particularly for a character who's supposed to be so intelligent. But he is also supposed to be very, very cool. So I guess that kind of helps, because, you know, it's cool. I suppose that's why I can't be cool, because I don't understand it. Maybe I could practice doing cool hands, though, if I just start, you know, having a loose grip on everything. I might drop a lot of things, so I shouldn't hold a lot of glasses or scissors or things like that. Or cups of coffee. That would probably end catastrophically. But yeah, that was the biggest thing I took from Josh Hartnett's performance, is that he does cool hands. And he has a really short fringe that makes him look kind of weird. Jordana Brewster does a fucking great job of being, you know, a bitchy hot chick. Like, she fucking nails it with a burning passion, you know. Elijah Wood is probably doing, you know, this would probably be my third favorite Elijah Wood movie. Lord of the Rings doesn't really count, I don't think, because that's like a different whole spectrum of whatever. You know, Lord of the Rings is just fucking awesome. And, you know, but as far as like Elijah Wood movies, I'd say like Flipper would be number one. Then, you know what, then this. I think this would be a safe second. Flipper, then The Faculty, and then North. The one where, you know, he's adopting parents and shit like that. I'm kind of waffling a bit now, but yeah, like Elijah Wood, he's good at, you know, being the bully kid. He just, it's so hard to sell him as a tough guy, but I think that kind of works with this film, is that, you know, that he just pretty much gets dumped on all the way down to the very end, and then just as he's like sticking it to the monster, he is like, it's his the manliest moment. His manliest moment in the movie is just ruined by getting his face filled with bugs and screaming in agony, which is it's unfortunate if you're Elijah Wood, but it's pretty amusing, and you know, he gets out all right. Spoiler alert. I mean, yeah, I should probably work more on not saying shit that happens in the films and kind of keeping it more about, you know, just my experience with it or whatever. But but fuck that. Like, I mean, none of the movies that are in my DVD list are that recent, and I'm at least choosing the ones that I haven't watched in ages. And if I haven't watched them in ages, that means that they've been around long enough for you to have seen them. And I'll always give like a heads up of what movie I'm going to watch the next week or the next episode or something like that. And so there won't be kind of an issue then for people if they're concerned about spoilers or whatnot. This is a place of spoilers. This is a place of me just talking blatantly, in all fashions, because I want to talk about shitty endings and things like that. I want to be able to talk about good endings, and I'm not gonna give away who the monster is in this one, I suppose, but spoiler, here's the big spoiler: they lose. The bad guys lose. One of my favorite things in this movie is just the relationship between Josh Hartnett and Jean Grey, because she's her whole character is the biggest pushover teacher in the world, and it's amazing. Like, a teacher like that going to a school like that is like, that's probably the most unrealistic thing about the whole alien takeover thing, is that like she would get fucking eaten alive by the students. And watching Josh Hartnett offering her laxatives and condoms and stuff, and how she just fucking lets him walk all over her. And then it's like it ends up with them in a fucking relationship. Like, that's hugely inappropriate and weird that, the teacher's sitting in the stalls watching some guy fucking who's supposed to be, so much younger than her, like, waving to him after... Oh, God, while he's smoking on the football pitch just to show how cool he is. Again, that's not really practical, but, that's what cool people do. So, if you've ever smoked and then tried running for any amount of time, it's just not going to go well. So, that Zeke character, he needs to get it together. I was really looking forward to watching this film, and I told a couple of people that I was going to be doing The Faculty, and by a couple I mean Liam, who I mentioned yesterday, and he was, he was pretty happy to hear that was on the list, and I said it to my sister, and she actually wanted, I was going to try and get her in to do this one. But unfortunately, she was just busy, so I just said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So, it's not just me. I come to realize that there's a lot of other people who know this movie, who love this movie, and it's kind of... It feels like it just has a really good appreciation for the genre, the horror genre, I think. And it, takes itself the right level of seriously, and the right level of seriously. Like, it's not really a terrifying movie, but it's just a lot of fun. Like, I think that's the thing, is that it knows that it's not gonna... There's a lot of these kind of sort of high school horror movies, teen horror movies, or I suppose horror movies, since the genre seems to kind of go after teens quite a lot, where they really, really try to be scary, even though they're just, like, the concept is kind of naff or something like that. And so rather than kind of do rather than try and be scary and do a bad job of it, it's like they just they made sure that this was fun first, I think, and they do a great job of like building the tension and all that stuff, but they don't really try to build it like like it's going to terrify you. It's not The Exorcist, and the Thing does a great job. Like, the Thing, it has, it's such a darker tone. Alien is such a darker tone, but this one keeps it light. And so to do kind of like a light horror film, a fun horror movie, that's a hell of an achievement. Because a lot of, Evil Dead does a good job of staying fun, but they also go over the top with violence and stuff like that. And that these guys were kind of conscious to sort of keep it sort of a bit tamer, so they could get a better, more broad rating, so more teens could go and see it. And I feel like that is just a really fucking well structured movie, and there's there's holes in it, of course, that you can go through and like nitpick if you want to be a dick, but even with the ones that you pick up on when you're watching it, you kind of it's so easy to forgive and just brush over, because the movie just does such a good job of being a load of fun. It's been a long time since I watched that movie, and I'm really glad that I did. So, yeah, if you haven't seen The Faculty, I'd highly recommend checking it out. Go and buy the DVD. It's not on Netflix. I'd lend it to you, except, actually I probably wouldn't. I don't like lending my DVDs. But, yeah, I think that that's kind of all that I want to say about The Faculty today. I suppose it wasn't really too in-depth at all or anything like that, but fuck it, who needs to be in-depth? So how am I going to do this? I haven't really decided how regularly I'm going to do podcasts. I think whenever I kind of in the mood for one, I'm going to sit down and do one. I'm going to try and get a twofer going. Have like another person kind of doing this with me, so I can kind of, have a bit of a back and forth with someone. Because, it's kind of the way I'm doing this right now is I'm talking to my computer by myself. Like, picture, a 26-year-old guy who's really hairy sitting in his room talking to a laptop. It's kind of weird. It is a weird thing to do. So I'd kind of prefer to be talking to another person. Talking to a laptop as if, expecting other people to listen to it. So you got that weird sense of, just... It's like, is that arrogant? Is that like ego to expect it? I mean, so the whole point is making a show of me talking about stuff. But, if other people, you're making it because other people, you want to listen to it and expecting them to like think that you're interesting enough to want to listen to it. That's a pretty weird headspace to be in. And it feels like it'd be a lot more justifiable to do with another person. I think the best way to put it is I just feel like a dick talking to a computer. And, but yeah, I think that I'm going to go with another early one from my early days of DVDing. So, methinks that I will go with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I think that will be the next episode. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one because I, again, think I remember pretty well. And I know that I'm a big fan of Kenneth Branagh's performance in that. But, I'll talk about that when I get there. And as far as that goes, yeah, quick shout out to Jon Damon, who, yeah, as I said before, spotted the thing with Jordana Brewster, and, well done, because I wasn't even taking that seriously. I should come up with a trivia thing for, like, every week, or something like that. I'll have to think of something. Yeah, that's something that I'll actually have to pre-prepare, or if I can think of one, I'll just throw it out there. Yeah, fuck it, I'm not going to pre-prepare anything. Yeah, pre-preparing's fucking shit. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it there for today. And so you've been listening to me watching my DVDs. I'm Tommy, and I will see you next time.